Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's going to be reviewing the all-new Chevy Silverado 3500 LTZ. Before we get in this video though, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Chevy here in Provo, Utah for giving me some time with this truck. As of me filming this video, this truck is still available, so if you're interested, I'll include a link to their inventory in the description down below. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Powering the new Silverado is a 6.6 liter V8 turbo diesel known as the Duramax. It goes through a 10-speed automatic transmission. Now, the previous generation produced 445 horsepower and then 910 pound-feet of torque. This new version produces a whopping 470 horsepower and then 975 pound-feet of torque. Now, before we go over the front end, I do want to mention, if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. Now, taking a look at the hood itself, you guys can see we have Chevy's signature vent there in the center. It actually says Chevrolet at the bottom. And then, of course, we have our Allison transmission Duramax badge here on the side. We've got these new style of daytime running lights with the headlights, and this looks really sharp, frankly. It looks really good in person. And then chrome on the front grille because LTZ life. Got the Chevy bow tie with the camera below it. Notice parking sensors here on the front bumper with fog lights on either side, tow hooks as well, and a very reasonably sized air dam, unlike what Ford has. Putting it all together, yes, it does look similar to the previous version of the Silverado, but it does also look a whole lot better. It looks more modern. Coming around the side here, turn wheel setup is 275/70/18 in the front and over in the rear as well. And then you guys can see with the wheel design silver, kind of a typical thing with the LTZ. Now, this does still utilize independent front suspension, which is crazy because Ford and Ram still use solid axles. You guys can see here with the fender flare, notice Z71 and then our 3500 HD badge. And then the fixed side steps there, trailer tow mirrors, and then notice the door handles are actually chrome. We, of course, have the bedside step here in the back. And then you guys can see with the leaf springs here in the rear. And then this has the upgraded shocks because it has the Z71 package, so they're the off-road shocks. Putting it all together from a side view perspective, it actually looks very similar to the outgoing version. So like the side hasn't changed as much. So here's our key fob. We have our unlock function or lock function, remote start, the drop down for the tailgate, and then the Chevy bow tie there on the back. And we'll press this a couple times and it'll plop right down. So popping into the bed, this particular truck has the 8-foot box, and you guys can see it's already protected from the factory. And also we got all of our plugins and everything for the fifth wheel setup. And then you guys can see with the LED lights here on the bed, and then we have an outlet as well. And there's actually a Chevy bow tie there at the very back, but it's a long way back there when you got 8 feet of bed. Now, I do believe, yes, we got the fancy auto-raised tailgate. And then taillights, again, they're a little bit different, but they're relatively the same, honestly. And then you can see LTZ Silverado, and then we got the bumper steps as well. And then look at the parking sensors here at the bottom with the receiver hitch, and then of course you got the giant exhaust tip. So putting it all together on the outside, subtle changes, but Chevy really didn't need to change all that much in my opinion with the HD, because I think that the new version they released back in 2020 looked good already. Now, taking a look at the door panel, you guys can see the wood trim here, and then look at the double stack design, just like the half-ton. So this has all the upgrades from the half-ton. And that means we have the new seats. Look how cool these look. You can see storage, but yeah, perforated all down the center. And then we've got our under-seat storage as well. And then we still have a flat loading floor. Legroom back here is fantastic. We got some cup holder action. You guys can see we've got some heated seats, USBs, and some vents as well. And then headroom back here is also really good. And, almost forgot, we have a cup holder armrest. Now, taking a look at the front door panel, you guys can see with the wood trim and again the double stack design down below. All of our window controls, notice the front two are automatic. Got our mirror adjustments. The mirrors do power fold in, and we've got the mirror extender function here. So then you can see out wider. Really helps out if you're towing. And then notice we've got the Bose sound system with this, and then also memory seats. Now this is important. Payload, 3,846 pounds. And then if we drop down, we got our towing sticker down here. So you guys can see we've got a conventional tow rating of 20,000 pounds, gooseneck 21,550 pounds, and then the gross vehicle weight rating is 12,250 pounds. Now the front seat still has the covering, but if you've seen my reviews on the half tons, then you've seen these seats. So they're the perforated leather seats you get with the LTZ. And then you've got your power adjustments here on the side. That's the hood latch release. And then we've got our drive mode select right here with your tow haul mode, drive line, and I think this is still the only HD that has 4-wheel drive auto, as well as 4-wheel high, 2-wheel high, and 4-wheel low heads-up display here. And then you guys can see the light controls. And then the steering wheel, it looks like, is manually adjustable. Now taking a look at the steering wheel, you guys can see really nice trim all around. Radio controls on the back of the steering wheel, some controls for the center stack. We've got our cruise control here with our heated steering wheel button on the steering wheel. And it is adaptive, by the way, with the cruise control if you're wondering. Then your regular stock, and then we still have the same column shifter here with the plus and minus if you can shift the gears yourself. Full digital gauge cluster here in the center, which you can obviously scroll through the center to see different bits of info. And then we've got our drive mode select, so we have a normal mode and an off-road mode. Gives us a cool animation. We also have a tow haul mode as well, but unlike the half-ton, it doesn't automatically turn on the diesel exhaust brake. You've got to switch for that. So in reverse, we do have a backup camera, 360 camera system, so just like the half-ton Silverado, again, so you can see out of like every single angle with the truck, which is fantastic, and resolution is really good. Now this also has the infotainment system out of the half-ton as well, so you've got like the little side screen there, you've got the main screen with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, responds really well, and then you have the little shortcut bar there on the side. Now it's got our home screen button right next to the other home screen button, and then obviously your volume control. That's your diesel exhaust brake, lane departure, parking sensors, tailgate drop down or raise up, hazard lights, stability control, and then your hill descent control, and then look at the trim that goes across. Trailer brake controls right here, and then you guys can see our climate controls. We got dual zone climate with heated and ventilated seats here up front, and then you can see a little storage area with some cup holders, and then look at the wood trim here on the side. And then the center console, nice how it's perforated there. And then you guys can see we've got a wireless phone charging pad. And yeah, good storage, again, literally straight out of the half-ton, so. And then popping over the glove box, we got the double glove box set up. I love how it like pops up. I think it's kind of funny, but you know it's perforated. And then you guys can see the nice padding here up top. And then we do have the rear view camera mirror right here. And then we have a power sliding window in this truck. You can get a sunroof. This one just doesn't have it. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off here in the Silverado. You guys can see visibility of the HUD and the heads-up display. Both the mirrors, which do have blind spot monitoring, and throughout the rest of the rear. And, well, we got to make sure that we actually reset our fuel economy. Okay, so officially setting off in the new Silverado. This is my first time in the new Duramax. And it'll be interesting to see what kind of fuel economy we get initially. And I will have more tests in the future. This, again, you got to remember, this is just the first test. Now I am also using this video for my comparison to the Ram 3500, so I might make some comments on the Ram 3500 in this video. And so first off, I love how this feels. Super smooth, just like before, but it feels like it's got a little bit more oomph to it. Now we're actually going to pop it, oh, there is no, oh, I was going to say, you're going to pop it into tow haul mode. And then we're gonna put the diesel exhaust brake on. I know this might sound weird, but I'm comparing diesel exhaust brakes with the trucks to each other, Ram versus Chevy, to see which one has a more aggressive diesel exhaust brake. So we are finally able to get up and moving here with the Chevy. Man, this thing's got some power. Good gravy. Now I have driven the old Duramax and experienced its diesel exhaust brake. Is it on? I mean, it's kind of, I mean, it seems like it's mostly doing engine rather than exhaust brake. So I'd say that Rams is probably still more aggressive. I mean, I'll check up here again just to see, just to make sure. Yeah, I love how this engine performs. Oh no, it's pulling back. It's pulling back pretty hard, actually. It's still not as aggressive. I think Ram still has the most aggressive diesel exhaust brake. This is an improvement though. So we're gonna turn that off and drive it how we normally should drive it now. Okay, now actually talking about how this new Silverado drives. It's very similar to the outgoing version because you have to remember, this is basically, you know, upgrades with the engine and then upgraded interior, but like the actual truck itself, it's like a carryover, like the suspension, the shocks, all that kind of stuff. That's really all the same. So like this drives pretty much identically to the last version, right? So that's what I'm noticing so far. But again, more torque. There's definitely that perceivable difference. Because again, we're going from 910 pound-feet to 975 pound-feet. So much more drivable than the Ram. Like the 10-speed just like boom, 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 right in the power band. Whereas the Ram, it's like there's lots of lag, and it's, again, everyone tells me that that's better when you're towing, but it's like, well, when you're not towing, which a lot of people daily drive these trucks, it seems like this just, yeah, it's so much more drivable. Ram, get an 8-speed or a 10-speed in that truck ASAP. And the independent suspension also helps out the ride quality on the Silverado quite a bit. It's very comfortable because of that for an HD truck. I have actually had the chance to drive all 3 HDs today. Still haven't driven the new Power Stroke, but I can tell you that the Silverado out of the bunch is the most comfortable with the ride quality. I think a big part of that, again, is because the independent front suspension. But yeah, I mean, after driving I drove a gas 6.8 liter Ford today, a 7.3 as well, and then I just drove that Ram Cummins, and this one definitely has like the most comfortable suspension. Okay, so this should be a pretty good area to get somewhat of an acceleration. Okay, I'll get another acceleration up in a moment, better one. But yeah, that was, just feeling that was pretty dang aggressive. Okay, well, we are getting to the end of our journey here with the new Duramax. Of course, we got a Subaru making this turn here. Means that we're not gonna be able to get as good of an acceleration as I expected. But no, we'll just take it real slow. We'll turn real slow because we know we're in a big truck, so we gotta take things. Oh, thank goodness they're turning out of the way. Okay, so let us see what this Duramax is made of. Yes, it puts down the power, and this thing is crazy. Yeah, it's definitely a big step up from the previous Duramax. That is 100%. My goodness. Yeah, see, again, power, like, you know, power figures on paper are one thing, but like what you feel in real life, there's a little bit of lag, but man, this thing, it goes. I'm so excited to do more tests with this new Duramax because, man, this thing is impressive.